Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this February 22nd version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we're on the EOA network, which means that you can find us on any number of platforms.
Yeah, lots of them. Spotify, Roku, Facebook, YouTube. What else?
Yeah,
We have an app that you can download.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
yeah. And all of those things make us unique. I mean, there isn't anybody else in the area that does that. So, although there are more and more people doing podcasts, like we were talking about, that's kind of like the rave thing. Yeah,
It's like I don't know. Podcasts have been popular for a while.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's like I actually appreciate more people doing podcasts in our area because it's more information.
It's
know
local.
what I mean? It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
There's not anybody doing like sports podcasts that are video. I wouldn't even call my stuff a podcast really. It's more of a show in my eyes. Like it's all we do release it in podcast form on Spotify, but we don't push it as a podcast. It's not like we're not calling it like the EO Live Sports Podcast.
right.
No, it's EO Live Sports. It's
Yeah.
just the video, But one of the things I did notice, we talked about this the other day, everybody and their dog is a photographer. I told you I went to that game.
Yeah.
And there was 5 people taking pictures. I remember, and I'm not saying I started taking pictures because there's been a lot of people before me taking pictures, but I remember I'd walk into the gym up at LHS and I'd be the only one taking pictures like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
And now there's 5 people sitting there taking pictures. It's
Yeah.
great with professional cameras, not like kids with their moms can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like people with
Yeah.
good professional cameras taking pictures. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's good because that just it stimulates more activity. It gets people involved, and I like competition too. So
Do you think part of that is because girls basketball is just doing well this year, or was it?
It's across the board. Like
Okay.
it's just more. EOU.
Yeah.
It's even more prevalent.
Yeah.
This year during football, that they changed the rules for us. I used to be able to go wherever I wanted on the sidelines at EOU.
Right,
games.
I remember that. Yeah.
Now I'm only allowed from I'm not allowed in the box at all with the players.
Right.
And I used to be able to just go wherever I wanted, and it's because I asked Camp about it, and he said they're letting too many people down here.
Yeah.
There's too many people going down and taking pictures.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. I have fun with it. I did complain to Angie about it a little, but but it was more of like I need things explained to me to understand them because I was very diligent all the time about not getting in the way, following the rules, and then all of a sudden you just take this access away from me and don't give me an explanation.
Right.
But then once I got the explanation, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. There's a bunch of other people down here that don't know what they're doing. And part of me wants to say, well, stop letting them down there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to have 5 people down there taking pictures. But the funny thing is most of them work for you.
Yeah. Right.
Most of them work, you know what I mean? Work for the sports department. So it is what it is. I mean, it's fun. It gives me a good idea of like where especially like if I'm just looking in this area, it gives me a good idea of where my skills are compared to other people in the area.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm better or anything. It just gives me an idea of because if people are shooting the same game, you can kind of compare.
Yeah.
Well,
you do really well, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons kind of I got out of wedding photography is because
it's convoluted.
Yeah, everybody does it. Yeah, and it's even more confusing because it's super susceptible to what's faddish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still old school where you start with a good photo, whatever that might be, and then, but I mean now it's like, and part of that is, girls look better. They feel better about the way they look when it's real or everything's real light, and so you can't see the imperfections or whatever it might be, and but for me that's not good photography.
And it's opposite for me. The thing that I love the most about sports pictures is all the foo-foo stuff doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's okay. A black and white is cool. Yes, I like black and white. Everybody knows that.
Right.
I post black and white ones all the time. But when it comes straight down to a good sports picture, the foo-foo stuff none of that matters. It's all about positioning, timing, lighting, and you can put any filter you want on it, and it doesn't change the fact that you were in the right place, pushing the button at the right time.
Well, and it still is. You have good detail. It's in focus. It's and those things are really. Those are for me.
The
That's
most
what makes
important part, especially for sports.
Right. Yeah. If you got a sports photo and you can see the dust coming off of.
Awesome, like a slide
or whatever. That detail is that's what makes it.
I like basketball ones where you can see the ball flat on the ground, and you can see the bumps on the ball.
Yeah.
But that is kind of hard. That takes practice to get that. You got to stay really still for one thing, even if you have your settings set to kind of compensate for that. You still can't be moving, otherwise you don't have a chance. Because you'll see sports pictures where somebody's going up for a layup and the ball in their hands all blurry. You know what I mean? And it's to me, that automatically gets cold. It could be the coolest face in the world, and if there's any blur on movement, well, I'm pretty much out.
Yeah, that's Well, and that's kind of the point of the photo is you want to capture that moment. Yeah. So
it's fun though. I've grown to enjoy taking pictures. It's a lot of work. I don't think people understand. I'll give people an idea of this weekend. I shot on Friday. I shot all day. Saturday I shot all day and evening. I took probably 6,500 pictures in the 2 days, and that's rapid fire. Just taking pictures, whatever. I probably spent, 15 hours culling through those pictures and editing them. So I probably have, just this weekend alone, just taking pictures, I have a full-time job worth of time into, 35, 40 hours.
Yeah.
Into 2 events.
Just doing photos.
A wrestling tournament and a basketball game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not like I dread it. I don't get home and say, oh, dang it, I got to cull these pictures. No. I get home and it's my relax, because I can do it at home on my laptop.
Yeah.
I can just plug my laptop into my TV so I can see the picture real big. And then I just cull through them like that one.
Yeah.
Don't like that one. And you can just hit a button on your keyboard and categorize them. And then you have them in different folders or whatever you want to call it, groups, and then you decide what you want to do with them from there. And then I always try to take my favorite picture and turn it into a black and white, or or if it's something that really is a instrumental point in the game or something, or there's a lot of emotion, I'll turn it into a black and white. My favorite picture that I've ever taken is Parker Robinson in Crook County. It was his first wrestling match as a Mountie, and it's kind of like a side profile of him, and it's really dark, and it's just his face, and you can see the Mountie singlet, and I turned that black and white, and it's probably my favorite picture ever so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's rewarding. You and I talked before. I hate culling through photos because
I don't mind it.
Yeah, because I always well, and part of that goes back to film days, when I would shoot on film, and it was so hard to. You'd have a photo, and they're super close together, and it's man, I don't know which one of those is better, and so it's the decision process of am I throwing away the wrong picture?
I haven't spent. I've culled a few of your photos, a wedding.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent any time outside of that going through other people's pictures.
Yeah.
Now that might be no. Okay, so I had Brenna take pictures. Brenna Strand takes pictures for us at the East-West game.
Yeah.
And I don't call her photos. I let
Yeah.
her decide what
Yeah.
she wants to, let her edit everything and then just send them to me. But
Yeah.
I've never really spent a lot. I wonder what that would be like. That might not be as fun.
Yeah.
Because I kind of tie like me calling the photos to like kind of replaying the game. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and if I didn't
it's-
take the pictures, like I don't
How
know.
would you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I'll go through and I'm like, oh yeah, it was like 2-1. You know what I mean?
Right,
and I
right.
kind of replay it in my head. So that's probably part of why I enjoy doing it. I don't know that I'd enjoy like calling some nature photos or something.
Yeah.
Sitting out there trying to catch a picture of a bird. You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
think I'd like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, you want to do sports?
Yeah, let's do it. It's a quick
All right.
one today. AM Sports Report brought to you by Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Go out and see Dana and his team. The hours for the pro shop are changing. It's it's winter time, but it's still a beautiful pro shop, beautiful course. Buffalo Peak. I mean, Dana's doing some cool things. He's part of the Boise Golf Show this couple weeks ago, and they were on TV in Boise. Dana was all excited. He was sending me pictures of him in the studio, and he's just doing great things out there for the county, for that course, and it's quite remarkable. Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Meet me at the peak. Before I go into local sports, I want to talk just a second about this whole. I want to get everybody's opinion about this debacle when it comes to 5-year athletes in college. So Caitlin Clark. She's in her 4th year. Let me preface this. Cheryl Swoops, who's an all-time great in women's basketball, went on a rant about Caitlin Clark when she broke the NCAA record last week. She says, she's in her 5th year, this, that. Well, she wasn't. Caitlin Clark's in her 4th year. But athletes are being able to play a 5th year because of COVID. So that's where I want to ask you guys a question. And answer in the comments or send me a message. What do you think about this? Do you think so? Say there's a record, right? Say the all-time leading scorer at for NCAA is so-and-so, and they did it in 4 years. Do you think that an athlete should be able to use that 5th year to break that record? I'm kind of torn on it. I mean, it is what it is in my eyes. And the other thing is it fair that those people that are getting 5 years, it's probably never going to happen again? You know what I mean? Like the chances of having 5-year athletes, because the reason why it's never happened before is because you have 4 years of eligibility. But with COVID, they changed the rule and let people have a 5th year, like an actual 5th year of playing. And that doesn't happen when you redshirt. That doesn't happen when you miss a year. You still only get 4 years. So I mean, is it fair? Should there be an asterisk in the records? I don't know. I'm torn on it. It's one of those things where I don't want to take anything away from anybody. They work hard for what they do, but at the same time, should a person, who scored 2,000 points in 120 games for the record be the same as a person who scored 2,000 points in 150 games? Answer that. I mean, give me your opinion on it in the comments. LeGrand Boys and Girls Wrestling starts today. The girls have 13 girls there. Boys have 12. I think LeGrand boys are gonna come home with 5 state champions. Now, team state championship it's gonna be a stretch for the boys. A lot of things are gonna have to go their way. But for the girls, I think they're gonna walk through that tournament. I think you're gonna see LeGrand win by probably 70 points in that tournament. They're good. And I had no idea that it was running concurrently. I don't know where I've been, what rock I've been sleeping under, but I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to get there really early, and that'll be championship day for both teams. So I'll be interviewing. I'm going to sit down with Dustin Azure from EOU, and we're going to talk some wrestling. I'll get Kalel on for a minute. Hopefully I get everybody that's in the finals too, and we'll just talk as it goes on. Keep you guys updated what's happening with these 2 wrestling teams and how close we are to possibly winning 4th straight state championship with the boys and the first one for the girls. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It's crazy. It's basically just 3 days of nonstop, like 8 mats of wrestling. It's nuts. And when I say days, I'm talking like they start at 10 and they end at like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Wow.
It's a full day. But they didn't get to play as much the COVID year. Well, it all depends. Some teams played full schedules, some teams didn't. You know, it just depends. But it's still that many games on top of a regular 4-year career. EOU men's and women's hoops this weekend. I'm kind of bummed out about that. It's senior year, and a lot of these seniors now, they're in their 5th year. And most of these guys were freshmen when I first started doing this show. And I'm going to miss their senior night. And it's kind of sad because I'm going to be in Portland, and it's like Preston Chandler. I've been with him ever since he got to EOU. This is year 5 for him, and I've been with him since he was a freshman. And I'm going to miss his senior night. I was kind of thinking about that last night. It's sad for me, but at the same time, it's also my son's senior year, and I need to be there for him as well. So.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. They're playing Corbin and Bushnell this weekend. Both teams have already qualified for the CCC tournament. Yesterday I sat down with CCC men's wrestling champ in the CCC tournament at 125, Hunter Sparks, and runner-up at 149, AJ Rockwell. Here's a little bit of that. Let's change it a little bit, and let's talk about like your team. If you had to pick one teammate to take with you to an all-you-can-eat buffet, who you bringing?
To an all.
Yeah.
What's the goal?
Eat as much as
possible.
possible.
As much as possible.
Yeah. You're going to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
I think I'm gonna look at this 2 different ways.
Yeah.
It's either one, I'm taking Darian or Jay, because they can put food down. I mean, Jay, I don't know if you saw, he did the Blazing Wings challenge.
Did he?
When they were in Arizona, and he crushed it.
No, I'm sure.
So that'd be my second. That'd be one of my choices. My second choice would probably be Zach.
The other 125.
Because he cut a lot of weight. Give me him the day after his last weigh-in.
Oh, and just
And
starving.
I think he's gonna. I think he can do some damage.
What about you after cutting weight? Like, okay, after nationals, you don't have to worry about cutting weight anymore.
Yeah.
Right. What?
It's liquids for me.
Is it?
I don't get too hungry. I mean, I'll enjoy like a steak or a burger, but I mean, I'll put down some chocolate milk.
Say you've had a really hard like weight cut, like you've gone through some hard weight cuts. What outside? You know, you said that chicken fried steak's your favorite meal, but what do you, after a really hard weight cut?
Yeah.
What's mom or dad or girlfriend make that you're just like, oh, dude, I gotta have it.
This goes all the way back into high school, but we had this wrestler mom. She made a breakfast casserole.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like eggs, biscuits and gravy with sausage, and that was the thing I wanted the most immediately after a hard weight cut.
Yeah.
And that was the thing right there.
That's awesome. I was a senior in high school, and I was thinking about coming to wrestle at EOU. Why should I?
Why shouldn't you should be the question. But the guys, they're quality people. The coaches, quality people. We got quality wrestling, quality people, and we got a good facility. We have good resources, and if you want your experience in college and on the wrestling mat to be a little more personal, a little more intimate, like you're getting attention every single day, and that's the best way to grow. Then you come to Eastern.
Love it. Eastern Oregon. He's EOU wrestler and second place in the very tough CCC national qualifier. AJ Rockwell. I'm Doddsy. AJ, I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
And Sports Report brought to you by Buffalo Peak. Out in Union, take the Union Highway, go left, go up the hill, meet me at the peak. Bud, another thing, do I do a lot of Photoshop on my pictures? No, I really don't do a lot to my pictures, to be honest with you. Once I call them, I'll make sure that the exposure's good, and then every once in a while, I'll add some clarity, like maybe just a little bit, but that's really it. I'll crop. Yeah, if I have a shot that's a little off center, I'll crop it and get it centered. But no, I don't I've never used Photoshop. for one thing, and I don't really do a lot to my pictures. I feel like I like that pure look, and if it's a good picture and it's well lit, I mean, there's a lot of times where I don't even touch it. All I do is crop it and call it good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so my opinion on the records is that yeah, I don't know how I don't know how that's fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because if you play more games, then you certainly have the ability to accumulate more points. I mean,
Right.
I guess it kind of depends on the record.
Yeah. Well, what if you're a 5-year kid? Like, I'll give you an example. Max is a 5-year dude.
Okay.
He only played 4 or 5 games his 5th year before he got hurt.
Right.
But he broke the EOU scoring record in his 4th year.
Right.
And went over 2,000 in his 4th year.
Well, and so
but
then
he is a
that's
5-year dude. So
right,
how
but-
do you?
Right, but I mean, so maybe that's how it's whatever you accumulate in the first 5 years or first 4 years, or maybe the best 4 years. I don't know, but I mean, I can see why somebody who has had a long-standing 4-year record would be unhappy if someone literally was playing. Yeah, of course they have the ability to break the record.
Right.
They're playing more games, you know.
Right.
So
Well, Caitlin Clark did it in 4 years. She's only in her 4th year.
Right.
Yeah. And the reason why it was brought up is because Cheryl Swoops, who's she's one of the goats of women's basketball.
Yeah.
She went off on social media about how Caitlin Clark it's not the same, that she's in her 5th year, but she was wrong.
but she broke it in the 4th year.
She broke it. No, this is only her 4th year of playing.
Oh, I see.
Like, Cheryl Swoops was just wrong, and that's
Does
what brought it up.
does she have another year of eligibility after this?
She does, but I doubt she comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to go why would she? She already has the record. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
she's still played less games than Kelsey Plum, who is the record that she broke.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She still hasn't even played as many games as her, or taken as many shots.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, that not a lot of room to complain there.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I've been thinking about it because it's going to be happening the next couple of years. It's just because we're right at that edge of COVID,
Right.
where people got an extra year of eligibility, and you're going to see some records that might get set that will never get touched because you'll never see somebody play that amount of games ever again.
Yeah. Interesting dilemma.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's kind of like one of those unintended consequences of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it puts people in a strange position too.
Yeah.
Todd says Swoops was way off base. Yeah, she was. She looked like an idiot. I hate to say it, but Cheryl Swoops is one of the greatest female basketball players ever, and she looked like an idiot, like a complete idiot. Like she did not know what was going on at all. Like, and had no basis for it. I think it's like, in women's basketball, it's a little different than men's basketball. I feel like there's like a line, and I don't know what it is. It might be political, but there's just hate there. You know what I mean? And it's weird. Like, I don't know if it's like age or if it's like a political line or what it is, but it was almost like Swoops hated her. And she didn't, Caitlin Clark's never done anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's a racial thing, although Swoops says black, Caitlin Clark's white. I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. Because she was defending Kelsey Plum, who's also white. You know what I mean? It wasn't a black and white thing. I think it's either an age or a political thing, I think. That's the only thing I can think of.
I saw the other day the 3-point contest between Steph Curry and did
Sabrina.
You see? Yeah. That was, and she didn't lose by much.
No,
3.
She's good.
Yeah.
She made more threes than Dame, who won the 3-point contest.
Really?
She had more points than
Well,
Dame.
and she shot from the men's 3-point line too, right?
Yeah, but she used the women's ball.
Oh,
she
is
didn't
it?
use the same
Oh,
ball.
oh,
that was
interesting.
one of the questions they were talking about. They're like, "Oh, we want it exactly even." Well, it's not exactly even if you're shooting a different size ball.
Huh?
And she said that, and she's like, "I'm going to use the women's ball. That's what we use."
Huh? How
But
much?
she shot from the same distance.
How much difference
It's
is
quite
there?
a bit smaller when it's in your hands.
Really interesting.
Yeah, if you hold a men's ball and then you hold a women's ball, you can definitely feel the difference. There's no doubt. Yeah, it's quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, I don't think.
But she killed it. Sabrina, that's an Oregon girl too. She played at U of O. She's good. And Caitlin Clark's like that. Caitlin Clark is legit shooter.
Yeah.
Like she broke the all-time scoring record from the logo, which is like 10 feet away from the 3-point
Right.
line. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a look at outside. It was frosty this morning when we got ready to
I'm not a fan of that.
come to work. It was, I mean,
It's going to be in the 50s all the rest of the week, though.
it was black ice. I mean, when I came from Island City into town in the shady areas,
I hope it's not like that tonight.
Yeah. That's right. Let's take a look at the weather, see what that's going to be like. So up to 50 today, 51, 30 tonight, and then it looks like it's going to be.
It's going to be damn near 60 on Saturday.
Yeah, look at the weather. The weather's going to be pretty this weekend, which is nice.
Wow.
Mostly sunny tomorrow and Saturday.
I'm down with that, even though I'm going to be inside all day.
That's right.
Both
Well,
days.
hopefully it'll be good traveling weather.
I think it is. I mean, middle to end of February, I don't think you can ask for much better than this. I mean, this is pretty solid.
Yeah.
There's times in middle to end of February where you're driving in snow.
Right.
I mean, and ice. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Well, and I was talking to one of the farmers yesterday, and we were talking about the accumulation or the non-accumulation, and he just felt like, it's going to be a dry summer.
Dry summer.
Yeah, he just felt like that was gonna. They're not going to have the yield that they normally have unless, he said, I mean, it could be that we could get some, great showers in the spring, which would help.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, how you could try to predict it right now, but you don't know what's going to happen in the spring.
Well, right, but the point is, we just don't. I don't think we have the accumulation in the mountains. I know we don't, that we normally do. I mean, it seems like, who did we talk to the other day about it? And they said that it was like 60 or 70% of normal,
Donna.
Donna, yeah.
So, but 60 or 70% is not horrible. I don't think.
Well, it's 60 or 70%
of normal.
Of where it's supposed to be at that particular time of the year.
Yeah, during a normal year.
Well, no,
average.
But it's not the accumulation. It's like so then what percentage of the accumulation should we have at the end of February? And if it was ideal, it would be 100%.
Yeah, and we have 60.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is not horrible. I mean, it could be way worse than that. It could be 10.
Well, and that would be. I don't know what is a bad year.
I don't either.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
idea.
I asked her. So when we had that flood, what was it? And she said, well, it was like, it was like 130%. So
Todd answered how big a women's basketball is. Of course he knows. Women's basketball size is 1 inch smaller in circumference. So if you think about that, an inch is a lot in circumference. I mean, it makes it quite a bit smaller.
Yeah.
You can definitely feel it when you're like shooting. It's lighter. It's just, it's different.
But circumference is the distance entirely around the ball. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a bit smaller.
All right. Well, hey, I have some trivia for you this morning. This is American history trivia, but I tried to pick things.
I'm not a history dude.
Yeah, I know, but these are things that I think, and there are some of them from the 1900s and some of them from 2000s. Okay, so do you know what year American women were granted the right to vote?
Oh, God.
Maybe what time? So 1920s, with the passage of the 19th Amendment.
Wait, you're not even going to let me try? You're just going to read the answer?
Well, I didn't think. Okay, so I'll let you try on this one. Okay.
All right.
What was the last state admitted to the Union?
Last state. Hawaii?
Oh, ding, 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 ding. Okay, who was the first man on the moon?
Neil Armstrong?
Hey, there you go. Okay. All these other ones, these are up in the 2000s.
All
okay.
right, I might be able to get some of those.
Yeah, you got 2 of those. Okay. I don't, maybe this. Okay, so what was in kind of a target year? What year did the Apple computer introduce the first iPod?
iPod. That would have been like right around 2000.
Yep, 2001.
2001.
Okay. All right.
I remember there was these ones, these little teeny.
Yeah. They called it the
iPod.
Nano.
Yeah, and it had a little clip on it. And
Yeah.
I never had one. I never had the Apple version. I always had the whatever else.
Yeah, I know.
there
Me
was,
too. I was like,
where
I
you loaded
couldn't
your
afford. I
MP3s
couldn't.
in.
Yeah,
I didn't have
they
no
were out of my
Apple
price
nothing.
range. So, in fact, I remember the first time I got a used one, and it wasn't even because I bought it. I bought some gear, and this used one came with it, and I even then it was 5 or 6 years old, and I thought it was super cool, but it was
I've never even used one.
beyond my and now everything's on your phone or
Yeah, you don't even have to.
iTunes or Spotify. It's just they've changed the game. Everybody else. Okay. So why did former Vice President Al Gore win the Nobel Peace Prize?
Gosh, I know this. I gotta think. I know he did something. He's involved in something.
So he did
Go ahead.
he did a film. It was his work on climate change education through the movie An Inconvenient Truth.
I didn't know about the. Okay, so I did know about the climate change work.
Right.
But I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't think of what it was that he was involved in.
Okay.
But I knew Al Gore won a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. Okay. And all of that is controversial, but it doesn't matter. Anyhow.
Yeah.
What type of exercise area did President Barack Obama, have installed in the White House?
Easy. Basketball court.
A basketball court, yeah. All right.
Barack's a baller from Chicago.
Let's see. This is interesting. Where is the geographical, and you won't know this, I won't know, I didn't know it either, but anyhow, what is the geographical center of the U.S. population approximated in the 2020 census?
The geographical center of the U.S. population. So is that like if you took the population and cut it in half and tried to find like where half of the people are in the United States?
It's
got to be somewhere on before the Midwest.
It says
most of the people are on the East Coast.
Yeah, it says about 9 miles outside of Hartsville, Missouri.
So it is. Because most people are on. There's more people on the
2/3 of the
of the U.S. Yeah, it takes 2/3 of the U.S. to make up 1/3 population-wise.
Correct.
100%. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then the last one. Who was the first woman to hold federal executive office in the United States?
Federal executive office, and it's recent. Well, it's got to be one of those ladies that everybody always bitches about. Not Pelosi.
She's current.
She's current?
Yeah.
Is Pelosi current?
Yes, but she's more. Yeah. But she's not an exec. This is executive.
Executive means
presidential,
executive branch.
federal executive office.
Kamala.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
So executive is like president, vice president.
I think so. I think
That's
those
it,
two
huh?
offices. Yeah.
And then it goes. What's in between executive and judicial? What's the one in the middle?
Well, so there's executive and there's Congress.
Yeah. What's it called?
Congressional.
Legislative.
Legislative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Executive.
Legislative branch and the judicial branch. Yeah, that's it.
Is that what it is? Legislative and then judicial.
Yeah, that's what Benny said. So.
Kamala.
All righty. Yeah. Mike Rudy says Doddsy needs to be on Jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm not like that guy that won like 59 in a row or whatever.
was
What's
funny.
that guy's name? He's the host now, or he was the host.
I saw an old Jeopardy clip on social media where they were asking the contestants, and this is when Alec Trebek, I can't remember. Anyhow, he was
Alex
still
Trebek.
alive. Yeah, and it was on football. They had a category on football, and these were all the kinds of questions that if you watched football you would know, and none of the panelists.
Oh, I've seen it. I've
Any of
seen
the
it. It's
answers.
on social media. I've
Yeah,
seen that clip.
yeah. I mean, it was just very.
And every single one of those questions I knew, like,
Right, yeah.
And these guys are like,
Yeah, no one.
But you ask them a question about molecular biology, and they're like, well, you take an atom and you split it in half and you add 2/10 to a burner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So if they had a common man's Jeopardy, I would enjoy that show. But I've sat next to people who knew all of the answers, and so
I used to do pretty good on Jeopardy with my grandma. She was impressed.
Yeah.
I used to impress. I mean, she was my grandma. Impressing
Right.
your grandma is not hard.
yeah,
But last week I was sitting in a seating meeting for the tournament, the wrestling tournament, the CCC tournament, and Marco, one of the assistant coaches for EOU, he was writing up on the board like the names of the wrestlers, and so he's standing, and I go, "Dang, Marco, you make a good Vanna." He had no idea what I was talking about, no clue. He's like, dude, Vanna White, you don't know who that is? He's like, no. I'm like, wow.
Oh, man.
Like Vanna's like 4 generations worth of people's part of their childhood,
Right.
like Crush.
yeah. It's so funny because all she started out was just a model turning leathers, and then over a period of time, she became more and more part of the show. And
She only missed like 3 shows in her whole career.
yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Over like 40 some odd years.
Well, and what's funny is that at some point they used to be they would turn letters, and now they just light. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
she doesn't even activate it.
But
She
yeah,
just gets
but there
near
was a
it and
period of
hits
time
the
it was
button.
like, well, we really don't need Vanna anymore. What are we going to do? And like, no, we got to have Vanna.
She's part of the show.
Yeah, she's still going to watch over and walk over and touch the panel.
Yeah,
And
what else a 14-year-old boy's supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have that whole niche if you didn't have her. So
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, and all those 14-year-old boys that are now 40.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a huge part of that show.
Yeah. Well, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, it's going to be quick on this day, too. Not a lot of things happened on February 22nd, right? 22nd? Mm-hmm. On this day in 1876, Johns Hopkins University opened. There is something very important that happened on this day, though. And it happened in 1980 BC. And it's one of the most important United States sports events ever. And it happened in 1980.
1980,
Yes.
on this day, February 22nd.
It was one of the biggest upsets in Olympic history.
Where was it? Where was it at? Where did it happen at?
Lake Placid. It was one of the biggest upsets in
Upsets.
Olympic history.
Did we win a bobsled? Bobsled? Or yeah, I can't.
It
remember.
was the Miracle on Ice.
Oh, that's right. The
we
hockey.
beat the Russians.
Yep. Okay.
4-3, and we went on to win the gold medal. I think we beat them in the semifinals, and then nobody had beat them in a long time. Nobody was supposed to beat them.
That's right.
It was kind of like Rulon's
Right.
gold in wrestling. It was
In
like
2000s, yeah.
unexpected. 2018, Neanderthals, not humans, were the first artists on Earth, producing red cave paintings 65,000 years ago in Spain, according to new research published in Science magazine, which is a reputable magazine. I mean, they don't put stuff in there if it's not something that's, diligently looked at. I looked it up because I don't want to say something, like that, and then have somebody think, oh, man, he's just making this up. No, I looked up Science Magazine. It's very reputable. And they don't just publish stuff that, isn't possible or true. But can you imagine 65,000 years ago, Neanderthals painting on walls in caves? That's crazy.
That is.
Like, what were they painting? I want to know what they were painting. Probably what they saw, right?
Right.
They weren't, like, getting into these, like, abstract paintings of, you know what I mean, like flowers turning into chickens or anything.
Well, and
right?
I mean, those those hieroglyphics were kind of a historical
But they don't consider hieroglyphics art.
art. They don't?
No, it's communication.
Right. Okay.
Like it's like writing the alphabet.
So this is their writing. They're just
This is just
drawing.
straight up art, like drawing pictures. You know what I mean? Not in the
Interesting.
form of communication, because hieroglyphics are like used to tell what's happening. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Like art is more just like a picture of depicting what's going
Right.
on or whatever.
But I guess that's a good question. Like what?
65,000 years ago, though. I mean, what stage were we at? We were Neanderthal. Just the brain being able to function at that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of like what we were like 65,000 years ago. We couldn't have been too smart. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for the time we were smart,
Right.
but we weren't like not anywhere near as advanced as we are today. Obviously, I'm like trying to think. Did we used tools? Obviously, because we painted. Yeah, that's crazy. Number one song in America 10 years ago today, "Dark Horse" by Katy Perry. And then the quote for the day: train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. One more time. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. Boom. I'll be going live the next couple days. I'll get there tomorrow morning sometime, and it's finals day. So semifinals and finals for LeGrand tomorrow, boys and girls. I'm going to go live with Coach Azure from EOU Wrestling. We'll talk some wrestling. We'll probably go in the media room and just set up a camera and just BS for a little while. And then I'll try to get interviews with Clell and all the finalists for LeGrand and keep you guys updated on what's going on with the good old wrestling for LeGrand. We're going for 4 for the boys. It's a stretch, but and a first one for the girls, which I don't think is a stretch at all. I think we're going to walk through that tournament. But
Wow.
The boys for 4, and I always thought it was 3 in a row, but I guess they're counting the COVID year, so it would be 4.
4 state champions in a row if they got it.
Yeah, and I don't want to curse us or like what's the word?
Jinx.
Us, but we're gonna break the single season state champion record this year. The most ever for LeGrand is 4. We're bringing back 5 individuals this year.
Huh.
So I mean that's my personal. I think 5 individuals will walk out of there with the gold medal on Friday night. I do.
Wow.
And I don't know about girls. I don't know it as well because it's not as prevalent. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen a lot of the girls, like they don't have the same amount of matches here in town. I just don't know as much about the girls. But I do know that we have really tough girls and that have done really well. And I don't think there's a team 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, which is the group that we're in,
Right.
that can beat us. I really don't. So,
Well, wouldn't that be awesome?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. And maybe a couple individual champions for the girls, too. That would be
Now,
sweet.
have they had girls state wrestling before?
Yeah, I think this is the second year or third year.
Okay.
Second. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's the
Right.
second year where it's been sanctioned.
Right.
I've never been there though when they run them at the same time. That's gonna be crazy. This is. I thought it was crazy when it was just boys.
Right. Because
There's
there's
so many teams.
Right, yeah.
So many matches. You know
Right.
what I mean? If you look at like just 4A alone, each team's bringing anywhere from like 10, to some teams have 20 guys, 18
Right.
guys. And all those guys are wrestling in a double elimination, you can wrestle back bracket, all in the same building. It's kind of wild.
There's like how many 8 matches going at once or more?
I want to say that there was 8 the last time I was there.
Yeah.
8 different mats, but there might even be more than that.
See, I've never been to. I mean, the Meilenberg is the biggest tournament
Well,
I've
that's
ever been
tiny
to.
compared
Right.
to this.
Yeah.
This is like
But still, it was mind-boggling to see, 10 mats or 12 mats going on all the same time. Yeah.
this one.
Just bonkers.
It must be more than 8 mats because Meilenberg has 6 or 8. I don't remember how many, but just think about it's Memorial Coliseum. It's where the Blazers used to play.
Right.
It's huge.
Huh.
And there's people. So like you can sit up. Everybody gets tickets. It's expensive to go. My ex had to buy tickets, to go watch my son. She's telling me, I'm like, golly, I didn't know it cost that much because I don't have to pay and I get the best seats in the house.
Right.
I'll be right there on the mat. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't know what that view is like, but being on the mat, I know what that view is like, and that's one of the reasons why I love taking pictures.
And you said again, what was the name of the website that you use to
Track
keep
wrestling? Everybody, it's the only way. If you want to follow anything wrestling in Oregon, track wrestling, you go to events, you search OSAA, and it'll pop up state championship. You go in, you can follow just one team if you want to, so you could select LeGrand, and it'll show you all LeGrand's matches when they are, when they're coming up. And it's the only way to follow wrestling in Oregon, really. Or you can pay for Flow, which is their affiliate. They're part of that, and then you can watch the matches as well. And I think Flow's like $20 a month or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
All righty. All right. Hey, thanks Eastern Oregon for being here this morning.
See you on Tuesday.
Yep. See you soon.